Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is today. I got a few acquisitions that came in, so I thought I would go over those. And it's not going to be a real long one. Just a few short few minutes. I received this month's Shashka bracelets, and they are a very stunning lot. Look at those. Are they not gorgeous? Although I don't think that they gave me the right size, because these are a little tighter than what the others normally are. And I generally go for the larger size because I know I have a larger wrist. I have always had a larger wrist, even when I was a little girl. I couldn't wear, normal bracelets that everyone had. But as you can see, that's how they roll on. And they're very easy. And they do stretch after a little bit. That is because the cording in there, as you roll them over and use them day by day. So you can see I'm already stretching them a little bit here. That is the nature of working with the beads and doing those lovely, this is a crochet bead. These are glass beads, and they crochet them in this nice little spiral. And the worst part about crocheting these types of bracelets, rope bracelets, is when you get the pattern that you're going to use, is you have to put those on one bead by bead. So there's a lot of time spent threading your beadwork to be done, because you have to have the entire line of thread already designed, your beads put in there in the right places for that design to come out. And I think you can see that. Those are just beautiful designs. But they're really gorgeous. These, I think these would go with just about anything you wear because it's got a lot of black and it's got a little bit of orange. Great for Halloween, right? So, yeah. I really love these bracelets. I have quite a few of them. Now, I'm not like Granny D where I wear my bracelets every day. Normally I wear them when I'm going out to do something special or for lunch with people or, whatnot. I used to be the type of gal when I was younger. I wore, bracelets and all my bracelets up and down the wrist and lots of rings on my fingers. Earrings, 2 earrings each ear. Yeah, I have double pierced ears. Necklaces, all kinds of things, barrettes, beautiful barrettes. But as I've gotten older, I'm like, that's a lot of work. I've never been one to wear makeup, ever in my entire life. Every time I would put makeup on, always felt like my face was dirty, which is kind of bizarre. But there is something and I'm going to tell you this, even as a child, I could not stand to have my hands dirty for long. We would play in the dirt, the mud, make mud pies as kids, but I had to wash my hands. I couldn't stand the feel of the dirt on my hands. So, which really confused my mother, because I was a girl that was outside catching all the horny toads and the lizards, stuff like that. I loved them. They were fun to play with. Can't imagine my surprise as I got older when I read up on horny toads. I would take these shoe boxes or boot boxes, and I would put some dirt in there and some things, and I'd catch 2 or 3 horny toads and put them all in the box together. And some of them were mean towards each other. They would hiss and spit and, go at it. And I thought, what's wrong with you? Can you not live in this box for an hour while I watch you and be harmonious with one another? Later on, when I grew up, I found out that I'd put 2 or 3 males together. They're very territorial. Bad. Hey, I was a kid. I didn't know better. But I love the horning toads. Because let me tell you, that one horn that's right here, when you just pet that, they would fall asleep. As quick as snot, they would fall asleep. You'd be just a pet. And I found horny toads adorable. They were my favorite. Now, I love catching lizards too. It drove my mother nuts. You know, she was like, "What is wrong with you? You're not? You are not that kind of child, are you?" Yes, I was. Just was. Tarantulas fascinated me. They just did. Didn't bother me a bit. Drove my mother nuts because I don't know if you know this, but tarantulas will dig and make a burrow in the ground that has like a flap door that they can come in and out of. And when it rains, I grew up in New Mexico, when it rains, the tarantulas came up out of their hole. Now here is the frightening thing about tarantulas. They can jump 12 feet into the air. So it's rather startling the first time you see it happen. When you walk out there, if it's raining and they jump that 12 feet, you're like, "Eh." So I'm sure that's where, you know, a lot of people get their fear of tarantulas. But I always loved them. Had no problems with them. Scorpions and what they call it? Fake scorpions. They look like scorpions, but they don't have the stinger on the back. I was fascinated with them. Didn't want to play with them though. Just wanted to see them scoot on their way. That was about it. We had rattlesnakes out there right next to our house. I had a healthy fear of rattlesnakes because I learned a long time ago that a rattlesnake coiled, when it strikes, can break a leg. If you're standing there and they strike your leg, they can break your leg. I learned that real quick. That was something that my neighbor's mother had told me, and she grew up in Mexico. And she always told me, you have to be careful of the snakes because they can break your legs, and there's no way you can get away from them then. And you know, she told me horror stories, so I was terrified of them. As well should anybody. They're not pleasant creatures. So yeah. But anyway, I don't know how I got off on that. The Shashka bracelet are actually crocheted bead by bead by skilled artisans. And you do have to be skilled to be able to crochet with these tiny little charlottes. These are charlottes that they use, and charlottes are very small, teeny beads. They're not easy to thread. They're also not easy to see very well as you get older. That's why I quit crocheting rope beads, because beaded ropes is what these are called. And I quit crocheting those because it got harder and harder to see. So now I can use 6/0 beads. I have no problem with that. Pony beads. Kidding. Pony beads are ridiculous to crochet into a bracelet. The other thing that I got was my Mary Maxim October knit. And I have to tell you, when I first opened it up, I thought, what? Because they sent you a pair of size 11 um, knitting needles. You got one ball of the frothy, and I got it in the color fresh. And I thought, okay, that's no big deal. Get the frothy. But then you got two of the color escapes, and this was in Bangkok colorway. And then two in my Konos color way. And I thought, what am I supposed to do with these? Apparently there are two scarves to make. And one of the scarves, you use those size 11 needles, and you use these 4 together. Now that is not a combination that I would put together, but I'm willing to give it a shot, you know. But I do have to admit, when I saw them together, I thought, but this is the scarf that you make with the frothy, and you just use one ball for it, and then the other one is the cityscape shawl, is what you are making with the other 4 balls. So it's rather interesting. There is the cityscape shawl there. I don't think I've ever seen a shawl quite like that. To me, it's an odd asymmetrical shawl. Never seen that type. So I'm assuming that they're both done on the bias. Haven't read through the pattern yet. I don't know if I will be making that shawl or not. I probably will not be using these knitting needles. I'm not a real big fan of plastic knitting needles. Maybe I'll try it with the bias scarf with the frothy and see how they go. But I tend to use my circulars for everything, because you got to find a bigger bag to stuff these in. Circulars pretty much will fit in smaller bags. So yeah, I'm not ready to start that at all. I'm still working on that other little hoodie. I had an episode where I injured my left arm, pulled a muscle. I'm just now tried to knit yesterday, and it was just still too painful right in here to do the knitting, so didn't knit. I'm hoping to get this finished up by Tuesday. I did start a Just Festive shawl in the green apple way, so I'm hoping that'll be done by Tuesday. I'm kind of taking a day off from all kinds of things today. We did have a garage sale at the church, did well, and be able to buy a new vacuum cleaner. And Tuesday I will tell you why we had to buy a new vacuum cleaner. You're going to find that story highly amusing. So, as you can see, the Shashka bracelets roll on, roll off. I will tell you, I am an affiliate with them. There is a link down below if you'd like to see that. The other things I need to get caught up on this week are my stitch-a-row, the Afghan shawl, scarf, whatever you want to make with the stitch-a-row, and I'm really enjoying it. But I'm far behind. And I had thought about, because while I was waiting, it seemed like, okay, where's the next stitch? I had thought about repeating the first 7 rows again. But now that the other stitches are out, I can catch up and do that. Maybe just repeat all 11 rows. And who knows, maybe Jennifer at Froggy When a Knitting will get tagged next. And, after, I cannot remember her first name, Miss Gabaldon, who is doing the 12th row. So hopefully whoever's doing the 13th row will be Froggy When a Knitting, because she's anxious. So I'm having fun with doing those little bits, those different things, getting to see them. So, yeah. Okay, I'm going to let this end now because I think I've rambled on enough, talked about stuff, had nothing to do with crochet or knitting. And everybody have a great week, and remember, choose kindness.